Greetings, blade lovers. This old sword's back with you once again. Hey, you may recall not that long ago I brought you a review on this really neat knife, this front flipper, oily hands, the Kizer Kobold, designed by Sebastian Irawan. It is the second version of the original smaller, slightly different but similar blade shape Kobold. And I really have grown to like this knife. I really enjoy the way the handle feels. It's very secure. Probably could have done with a little more jimping for my tastes. Double opener, so you can finger flick it and you can thumb roll it and you can front flip it. Although I would like to see the jimping maybe be just a little more aggressive. Well, not to be outdone or rest on those laurels with this knife, 154 cm on this one, by the way. We now have a follow-up. The same knife, all blacked out, aluminum anodized black handles, and CPM 4V. Yes, Crucible CPM 4V steel. Purportedly very close to Vanadis 4E for toughness and impact resistance. Although you may be a big fan of 3V and 4V, but I am noticing that they don't bring the hardness up very much, and I don't think it has the capacity to go much beyond 61. And you can correct me on that. I'm not a metallurgist by any means. And at any rate, you may not get a lot more hardness in edge holding out of 4V than 154. Make sure this is 154. Yeah, 154. I'll leave that over to the side for a moment. But as you can see, hopefully, same exact knife, different materials. 154 cm and a really nice kind of neutral greenish micarta. And black aluminum, you seldom see that. Black aluminum scales. Both liner locks, again, exactly the same profile and layout and features. Clips, both of them have right side only clips, deep carry only. They are surface mounted with flathead screws. Black clip on this one. We'll compare the weights and whatnot in a moment, but obviously the dimensions are going to be exactly the same. But interesting that they came out with this. I mean, Kizer does some interesting things from time to time, but that's the Cobalt II. Again, black aluminum scales. I'm a little conflicted about aluminum. I think I never really cared for a lot of out the front knives because they were aluminum. When they started coming out with out the front knives with G10 and micarta and so forth, I jumped on it because they just felt more comfortable in my hand. Cold weather, yeah, you're going to feel it. The metal is definitely going to feel colder than the warmish, more inviting micarta. Stonewash on this, catch that. Right here, you see the 4V. And Sebastian Irawan, he's really turning out some interesting designs lately. I've seen some of his prototypes on Instagram, so much more to come from that new and I think young designer. So we will quickly measure this up. I was going to put the Kizer specs on the screen, but 8 1/4, 3.6 we'll call it for the blade, almost 3.75 for the cutting edge. Blade stock in millimeters, 2.7, fairly thin. Let's try that again. Yeah, 2.7. Give it a little squeeze. In inches, 0.11. Handle, a little on the robust side at 0.59, but let me tell you, that works for you. That definitely works for you. Someone went and covered my scale up here, so I can't access it as quickly. Put it back in the plastic case. I think that was me. All right. Firing up the scale. Let's do this. Original Kobold II in Micarta, 4.05 ounces. Aluminum handle, 4.89 ounces, almost 5 ounces. Picked up a little bit of weight there with those aluminum handles. They use the same blade stock. It looks like, yeah, nothing changed. Dimensions, I mean, they're certainly not going to reinvent the knife to do a second run of it. Just change the steel and change the scales. Scales come off the same way. We've got all the screws in the same place. They appear to be T6s. Yeah, appear to be T6s. Suppose we can always verify that, because you'll be wondering. Hang on. All right, here's my WIA T8. Let's put that in there. Definitely the pivot is a T8. And here's my WIA T6. I guessed right. So body screws are T6 for those that want to know. Pivot screw is a T8. Let me do a quick compare with Griptilian. I know it gets boring after a while. I always compare it with a Griptilian. Wow, pretty much exactly the same size, maybe edging it out slightly with, it's got maybe a little longer blade, but we're really pretty close. Rat 1's going to be bigger because of the Griptilian is the same. The Rat 1's going to be, not that much bigger, a little bit bigger. So we are dealing with a full-size knife here. Yep. And you may not like the 0.59 thickness. It just feels great in the hand. You're going to have to trust me on that. I mean, aside from, for me, the aluminum, which I'm not a big fan of. And yeah, with time, the high spots are going to wear through, and you're going to see silvery stuff coming through. May not be your cup of tea. If I forgot to mention it, we have a nice lanyard pin right there. We have some pretty good jimping on the back spacer. We've got a good relief for the lock. Closes very easily. And again, middle finger flick it, thumb flick it, and really not too bad on the front flipper. I'm just not a front flipper guy. I mean, I was brought up on thumb studs, so to speak, in the knife world. Thumb studs are my favorite. Bang, snap it right out. But this is muted enough so it's even with the end of the knife, and it's not going to catch on anything. It's not a big, long, pointy shelf like you have on some knives. And if you catch it early here and just roll around it, it opens fine. It's just not my first place to go when opening a knife. But if you're practiced otherwise, then that's what it is. Carries well, spring clip. And we'll do our parting shot with both of them out here again for your perusal. There we go. Cobalt II, Sebastian Irawan design. Micarta 154 cm, V4 with aluminum handles blacked out. 4V, 4V, V4, 4V. Oh, yes. Sorry, Crucible. Well, let me know if you like this particular version of this knife, and don't forget to give the review a thumbs up if you would, and subscribe. I'll be back soon. Take care.